Now this section of the video will probably be the most controversial because we're talking about brands of flashlights. All right, hello. Welcome back to the channel. I haven't made a video in like 3 weeks. I've been extremely busy doing flux defense things with restocks and trying to catch up after a family trip. None of that matters. That's not why you're here. Why you're here is because I have decided to throw my opinion into the sea of toxic opinions and comments when it comes to flashlights. And I know everyone has something to say about flashlights, whether you're a tried and true, surefire kind of guy, whether you're a little more open and you're gonna take the Olight, as controversial as that is, or if you kind of look at it the way that I'm gonna break it down, which is into two different categories. And I think a lot of people don't quite realize this when they're new to flashlights. They don't realize that there's different types of flashlights. Just like any gun out there, they fit different roles as tools. And so same with flashlights. In this video, my wife's behind the camera over here, and I'm gonna be bringing up a couple of points and seeing if she's ever heard of these things when it comes to flashlight. All right, so these two categories are: one, the tactical flashlight, and two, the EDC flashlight. Now I've got a couple of examples here. One is a tactical flashlight and one is an EDC flashlight. Let's break down what each one of those means. First and foremost, let's talk about the tactical flashlight. The main reason for this is honestly to be a deterrent to somebody. Somebody's running at you, an animal, or anything is going to potentially cause harm to you. It's a lot safer to whip out a flashlight if you have time and if the situation calls for it, to take the flashlight and use it as a weapon on somebody's eyes. People underestimate the power to blind somebody or an animal, and it is a very effective tool, and it's almost the same as nighttime. You know, people use night vision because they can see in the dark and they can do something a little with a higher advantage compared to the other person. So if you're using night vision, they don't have night vision, you can see in the dark. This is almost the opposite, where you're putting so much light into somebody's face that they can no longer see anything and you can still see exactly what you're doing. Tactical flashlight, meant to be a lot of lumens, really high candela, a tight beam is what I'm looking for, a very tight beam that I can direct at somebody's face and right at their eyes, and hopefully they do whatever I tell them to do. The EDC flashlight, let's see if this makes sense to you as well. EDC flashlight is for everyday carry. It's what are you going to be doing with that flashlight on a day-to-day basis. I talked with Ben and a couple guys in the office recently about why an EDC flashlight over a tactical flashlight or vice versa. And it all came down to how often do you use your flashlight. Now for somebody like Ben, he uses it all the time. For me, not very often. I don't use my EDC flashlight a lot for EDC things. I have good lighting almost everywhere I go. I use that lighting instead of having to need a flashlight. So that's why this all kind of comes down to personality, honestly. Personality, your philosophy on things, what you think you might need a flashlight the most for. Yeah, you can use an EDC flashlight to blind people, but that's not its main purpose, and it's also not what it's going to be the best at. All right. Now this section of the video will probably be the most controversial because we're talking about brands of flashlights, and everyone is a brand loyalist for something or a brand hater for other things. So in my opinion, for me, not reflecting anything else, when I want a tactical flashlight, I want to pick up something that is reliable and trusted. Those are probably my two biggest things because I will be using it for a self-defense potentially situation. So reliability, trustability, if that's a word. And so for that, I choose brands that have been around a long time that are used by law enforcement and military, because that's their job. It's mainly defense of themselves and others. So I pick Olight is my go-to right now. I like Cloud Defensive a lot. I think they're a really good company. Surefire, the X300 is my favorite pistol light. It does everything I need it to do, and if you've seen some of my past videos, I believe the switches on them are superior. There's Streamlight, been around a long time, been used by law enforcement for a long time. Affordable, not like Olight, not like Surefire much, but Streamlight is affordable. Those are my defensive light brands I would go to. EDC. This is also, in my opinion, is where things can loosen up a bit. I don't necessarily think you have to have the top of the line, most rugged thing for an EDC flashlight. I think that's kind of counter the point. You're not using something for self-defense. It's now for purely utility. And for that, I would take Streamlight. It is still very cost-effective. I don't think I would go for an EDC flashlight from Surefire or Olight or maybe even Cloud, because those are very pricey for an everyday carry flashlight. If you're balling and you want to do it, I'd say go ahead and do it. You're probably going to be fine. Just understand that the margin, you're not getting that much better over a cheaper brand like Streamlight. Cheaper yet high quality. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that would be Olight. And over the years, they've introduced themselves into the market in a big way. There's a lot of people who trust them with their whole entire hearts and souls, and then there's people who don't. Now, I completely understand both sides of it, and I will say that most people who absolutely hate Olight hate them because they don't want anything to do with them in a self-defense situation. It's a company from China. The Communist Party controls all of Chinese companies. And so for you to use a tactical light or a light from Olight, one means you're supporting the Communist Party of China in some way. Or two, because it's just support American, why not get something like Surefire, made in the USA, Olight, Cloud, made in the USA. These are good companies that are made in the USA. Some Streamlight stuff isn't, I think. And that's where I say, when it comes to EDC, I think there's flexibility. I'm not a fan of Olight, and I don't have a problem saying that. When I was a very small Instagrammer, I think I hit like 6,000 or 7,000 followers, something like that. They reached out and they're like, we want you to be an Olight representative, and we want you to get a cut if you just push our products, and people can use your discount code. And this was a couple years ago, and that rubbed me the wrong way, and I'm not necessarily opposed to being sponsored or anything. I don't have sponsors, but I do work with some companies like Hold Up Displays, who sent out this gun wall, which is super dope behind me, in trade for work. Like, I would do some pictures for them, and I would help them out with pictures for their newsletter and website. I agreed to that because I wanted the wall. That's a good deal for me. But for a company to just go like, hey, we'll hook you up, we'll give you a bunch of lights, we will get you hooked up with a code, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just I don't want to be associated with Olight. I think some of their little lights are really good EDC lights. I would never trust my life to it. And all I can say about Olight is high risk, high reward, I guess. Association, sure, if you want it or not, if you don't care. Reputation, reputation to have things blow up, which may or may not be true, depending on who you talk to. But I do say high risk, high reward because they are very cheap, they're inexpensive. For EDC, that may not even be a big deal if it's as rugged as you want it to be. There's just a lot of features that Olight has built into their flashlights in terms of settings and ways you can use it, that it's undeniably a good product as long as it works. So that's what I'm trying to say is, as a company, I don't like them. High risk, high reward. If you want to try it out, I'm sure you'll get your money's worth. It's just not my first choice. So that is the video. I'm sure you guys are gonna let me hear it in the comment section. Well, I've had my Olight for 4 years and I throw it against the wall and it does just fine. Hey, it probably does. That's just not one of the things I care the most about, because almost every flashlight now in this day and age from a good company makes just as reliable flashlights. So, any questions?
Why did they explode?
So she asks why is the rumor that Olight explodes? That's because somebody had an Olight flashlight in their mouth as they were pointing it into whatever they were looking at, and something happened to the battery and it just straight up exploded and melted their face and killed them basically.
That really happened?
Yeah, so that really happened, but here's the thing. I've heard that it's because they were using an aftermarket battery that didn't match what the flashlight asks for.
I was gonna say that sounds like a battery problem.
So could be user error, could be something else. It's just up to you to do the research. I don't care as much about it, so I'm not gonna go do the research. I'm not bringing this video to you guys to give you like, you should buy this or that. If you're interested in it, go look it up. But that's what I've heard, and look, I get it. Olight makes proprietary batteries that doesn't work with anything else. Even though the batteries are supposedly very strong, very good, but their output is ridiculously high, and that's why they use it compared to an 18650 or an 18350. I like to standardize. All my weapon lights are either 18650 or 18350. My tactical light, 18350. If I wanted to go Olight, I'd have to use their proprietary battery that, although maybe better, no longer is standardized with all the rest of my stuff. So just another thing to bring up.
What is 1850?
So the two batteries, there's 18350.
Okay.
It's a shorter, smaller one. It's more compact, so you can use, they're high output batteries, right? So it'll push out a lot of lumens. But yeah, there's a shorter runtime. 18650 is like double the size. Yeah. So they're really good. They're lithium, they're rechargeable. That's why they're so good and they're used. But all right, so that's the video. I look forward to looking at the comments. Spout off, hey, what flashlight is your favorite for a tactical aspect? And what flashlight is your favorite for an EDC aspect? I don't really think there's one that does everything the best. I don't know. You'll have to let me know. But I value high candela when it comes to a tactical flashlight. So that being said, if you want to support me, I don't have sponsors really. I don't have Patreon or anything. Just barely hit 1,000 subscribers. That's really cool. And I will continue to make videos because it's fun. Not necessarily because I'm looking for an end goal here. It's just that these are fun to make and I like doing it. I like the gear. I like doing all of it. I like camera work. But if you want to support me, I am the owner of Tumi Tactics. We make EDC multi-tools specifically for weapons and pistol optics and lights. If you want to zero your hollow sun or RMR or aim point acro, the tool will work and it will help you zero your optic. It's awesome. Go ahead, check it out, tumitactics.com. And again, I'm the owner of that company, so I will shill for myself, absolutely. So,
Works on something.
yeah. Works on weapon flashlights very well. But that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.